team?
For the Rangers.
Partisan.
Partisan. That's all right. First name's Mike.
Mike Partisan.
I just know him as Mike. Yep,
Mike
they
Partisan.
play
Yeah.
7:30 tonight. I'm like driving around. I'm like, what other field do you guys play at?
Yeah.
They're up next.
Any left?
Yes.
You had it.
It was on the field. Alex said he did not take it.
On the field.
Yeah. And it also has got the heat thing on it.
It's right in front of the fan. Like, I don't know how this heat thing even happens.
No. No, no, it's all it took was a little breeze.
I'll text Jan and tell her we found it.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, the mics are on too, by the way.
Perfect. Well,
The South Union Township Supervisors presents the South Union Township Sports Network today from Hutchison Park. It's HARC Baseball as the Pirates take on the Athletics. Hi, everyone. I'm Joshua Scully alongside Bill Dice. South Union Township Sports Network coverage is a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Again, I'm Joshua Scully with Bill Dice tonight. And up next, it's 12U Little League Baseball, the Pirates and the Athletics. And, Bill, we've got two games tonight, both of which we are expecting to be very competitive and potentially very high scoring.
Yeah, there's a lot of offensive talent here tonight. Hopefully we'll see a couple competitive games. And, it is warm out there, so hopefully the kids, are able to beat the heat and, play well.
Sunny and 82 degrees here at Hutchison Park today. We do have, as you may have seen in your local weather forecasts over the course of the last few days, some of that haze that has been described as a result of the Canadian wildfires that are occurring right now. That haze has drifted over southwestern Pennsylvania, and we're expecting to see that more or less over the next 2 or 3 days. Athletics today in their green uniform, gold trim and number. White pants, the Pirates in their black uniform, gold trim and number, white pants. The Pirates will be treated as the home team here in Game 1. Athletics treated as the guests. They will bat first. First pitch of the game from Eli King. That's the Pirates starter today. This one is upstairs, and it'll be treated as ball one. Count goes 1-0. Thank you again for checking us out on the South Union Township Sports Network. The South Union Township Supervisors making this happen for us tonight. That's a called strike, 1-1. First batter of the evening for the Athletics at the plate. Right-handed bat. And we're going to have the Athletics lineup for you in just a moment, as this 1-2 count goes to 1, this 1-1 count goes to 1-2. This is Jacob Hudak, the leadoff bat for the Athletics. And right now we'll see if he bears down and works his way through this count. This one outside, and the count will go to 2-2 against Hudak. Got to see Jacob Hudak the last time Bill and I had the opportunity to cover this Athletics team. He played the infield and also worked as the pitcher for a time in that contest. Here's the 2-2 offering. This one's way upstairs. And, in fact, that was ball 4, and Hudak's going to draw the walk. I apologize for not quite having the count there correct. Had a little mishap just before the game where, as Bill will verify, I managed to lose my phone. I had planned on taking photographs of the lineups with my phone and apparently dropped my phone on the field. And then I went down and copied the lineups by hand and then lost those lineup copies. I have now found them.
Yeah, we were having some technical difficulties. Last night it was on my end, right before the game, technology-wise, and tonight it was a little bit of both for you.
Yeah, unfortunately. Here's a swing and a miss for Garrett Holt, the number 2 batter. He's going to bat with Hudak on first base, and Holt will be followed by the number 3 bat, Max Voidish. Pitch on the way from King to Holt. Holt's going to watch this one go upstairs and on the move and in easily as Hudak will give him the stolen base there. So the first runner in scoring position for the Athletics. Oakland Athletics, of course, right now at the Major League level, playing in California. Soon will be playing in Las Vegas, Nevada, if all goes as planned. Here's the pitch from King. This one way up high, and Hudak's going to advance again. And he's down to third base, and the ball gets into the outfield here. And this is going to allow Hudak to come around and score a run. So Jacob Hudak, some heads-up play from him will allow the Athletics to take a 1-0 advantage here in the top of the first inning. Great start for the Athletics. Draw the walk. Capitalize on some opportunistic situations. Pitch on the way. This one going to miss up high. And now Holt has drawn the walk, and he'll advance down to first base. So we will see Voidish, and if he's able to reach, the rest of the A's lineup looks like this. Batting fourth and now on deck, Liam Turicek. He'll be followed by Cameron Hayden, Christian Curry. Seventh batter in this order, Vanden Bicker. Silas Mitchell will bat eighth. Ninth batter, Griffin Zavachin. And the 10th batter, Isaiah Nicholas. The A's are under the direction of Dan Schiffbauer. Their sponsor is the Sprouse Insurance Group, and we are, of course, familiar with the Sprouse Insurance Group here on the South Union Township Sports Network. This one's in for a strike against Voidish. Nobody out yet here, top of the first. A's and the Pirates, 12U Little League action tonight from Hutchison Park. King will come set. He steps. Here's the pitch. This one going to be upstairs. And advancing down to second base, Garrett Holt. A's moving very well on the bases here so far. Liam Turicek and Cam Hayden, the 4 and 5 batters, both preparing themselves to step up to the plate. King will come set here now. Right-handed pitcher will offer. Pitch on the way. This one up high. And that's going to allow Holt to take off, and Holt is in. Good-looking throw there. Playing third base for the Pirates, Samuel Johnson. Bill and I, of course, both remember Sam from the last time we covered this 12U Pirates team. Does a really nice job in the field, and at least the game we covered did a good job at the plate, too. Here's the offering from King. This one is going to nearly hit Voidish, and he draws the walk. Runners on the corners now for the A's. And Liam Turicek to step up to the plate. That means Cam Hayden officially on deck, and Christian Curry is officially in the hole, the number 6 batter for the A's. Turicek, right-handed bat, deep in the batter's box, will take a ball here, and King hustles back to cover home plate just in case someone had tried to advance. Coming up at 7:30, Phillies and Rangers, another game that we're really looking forward to. Both of those teams have done really well offensively as of late. Phillies and Rangers, in fact, over the course of the last 15 or so days have both played in games where they have scored at least 23 runs. This one's going to miss outside. King again doing a good job stepping back to the plate to make sure he is there to cover in the event that the runner tried to push home there. Runners on second and third now for the Athletics, 1-0. Garrett Holt's your lead runner. He's at third base. Max Voidish takes a few steps off a second. This one gets away, and a walk issued to Liam Turicek, and so we'll see now Cam Hayden. And, Bill, this is an interesting situation to be in for a batter because you've seen some of your teammates issued walks.
Yeah, you kind of still want to be aggressive at the plate. Hopefully we'll see this batter here aggressive.
This one's going to miss. King there to cover once again.
Is that Hayden up at the bat?
This is Cam Hayden, yeah.
Yeah, Hayden, he would have needed a tennis racket to hit that one. So that was a good eye there by Cam.
You have to wonder if Cam is tempted to go after one of these with the bases full of his teammates. And this one he does go after. 1-1 count.
Those high ones always look so nice, Josh, coming in. But they're so hard to hit.
They are very tempting. Really, that's true for hitters of all varieties and of every stage of the game. You love to chase after the high ones. High pitch already feels like some of the work is done for you to put it into the outfield. Here's the pitch from King, and Hayden's going to swing through this one. .82 degrees and mostly sunny, we're going to say here. First pitch was at 5:30. Some short shadows right now making their way across the field, and that's going to be the first out recorded by the Pirates here in the top of the first inning, a strikeout. Base is still full of A's, and Christian Curry is going to step up to the plate now. And Bill, the good news, amongst all the running that I did to find the lineups and to find my phone, I also managed to go back and find my painter's tape. This one hit on the ground, 2-2, and it finds its way through into right field. 1 run scores, that's Holt. Voitish is right behind him. And Curry, we're going to give him the 2 RBI single. Three nothing now, the score for the Athletics.
You know,
Just
Josh,
1 out.
we were talking about technical difficulties. Here I was having a little trouble with the score hub getting it to connect. Now I got to shorten one of my headphones. So my headphones keep going in and out. So this is looking to be a tough night for us.
Well, it can only
go up from here?
Yes, that's what I want to say. I almost stopped myself from saying it. 12 minutes into the evening. Here's Van Bicker. Bicker's going to wave at this one and miss. Van had a chance to interview Van prior to the game. Asked Van if there's any nicknames. Because, you know, in baseball, there's a lot of great nicknames throughout the history of that game. Here's the pitch from King, and Van's going to wave at this one and miss. He gave me a couple different nicknames.
What did he say? I'm curious on this one.
Well, we'll give him a different one each time he comes to the plate.
Okay.
But the first one is he often is referred to as Van the Man.
Van the Man. That's what I was going to say.
Here's a good situation here for Van to try to leg this one out, and he's in at first base. And that's going to allow Turicek to score by a step. So Van the Man with some hustle. Van the hustling man. We'll say this for Van the Man. Saw Van the Man earlier today.
Van can.
Yeah. Saw him earlier today at a dunk tank. And I kid you not, first pitch here to Silas Mitchell. Van is down to second base, uncontested. He was dunking people left and right.
Oh, was he?
It was incredible. Yeah,
Wow.
The line was probably 15 feet away, and he was just torturing some of the poor people who were in the dunk tank. I think I saw him dunk some of his classmates. He even dunked the school security guard at one point.
Hey, it was a nice day for a dunk tank today, huh?
Yes, it was. Really good day today. Fun day at school today. Some of our local school districts still in school. Swing and a miss here, and now Silas Mitchell down on strikes. And so we'll see Griffin's of action. Right now, base is full of A's. No, I checked that. Runners on second and third.
2 outs.
2 outs, a good spot here for the Pirates. This pitch gets away. Curry thinks about it, came halfway, and they're going to chase him back to third base. Griffin's of action. Only one batter left in this lineup after him who has not yet batted. That's Isaiah Nicholas. King's done a good job getting this inning under control for his team. Here's a pitch that's going to get away. Toss over to King for the tag, and no, he is called safe, and King could not believe that. Curry able to slip in and make this game 4-0. Curry was definitely quick getting down the line, that's for sure, so the Pirates had to really hustle just to have a chance at that. And swinging and missing is Zavachin. Zavachin still has a runner in scoring position for the Athletics. Van Bicker with a lead off of second base. This one fouled back. Pirates and A's, 12U Little League, to be followed at 7:30 p.m. by the Phillies and Rangers 12U. Home plate umpire wants to fix the plate. No need to sweep it off here, of course, at the Little League field because the infield is artificial turf. So you don't have to fight that battle very often. This one's going to miss. Griffin with a full count now. Facing down Eli King. King with the pitch. This is in for a strike, and that's going to do it. if you want to look at it very literally speaking, Bill, in that half inning, although the Athletics strike for 4, the Pirates recorded 4 strikeouts.
Yes,
They just could not complete the strikeout of Bicker, who legged it out and got to first base. But otherwise,
Yeah,
not a
King
bad
did a
inning.
nice job once he got his pitches under control a little bit. He's found the zone and struck, like you said, struck 4 batters out. That doesn't happen very often.
no, it doesn't. And he struck out back-to-back batters to conclude the inning. Really, if you, again, want to be literal, he struck out back-to-back batters to end that half inning. It's just they did not get Bicker to complete the first one. He was able to successfully get down to first base on a passed ball, strike 3. So now for the Pirates, who will be coming to the plate here in the bottom of the first inning. And the Athletics, again in their green uniform, gold trim and number, they'll take to the field. Pitching for the Athletics tonight, as we had thought we might see, number 11, Jacob Hudak. And Hudak's on the field right now to loosen. And we do have the Pirates lineup for you. We're going to share that with you in just a moment. Hudak wears number 11 for the Athletics. He's a right-handed pitcher. Here's that starting lineup for the Pirates. Leading off will be Cohen Casimir. Batting second tonight, Isaac Kirsch. Batting third, Bryson Van Meter. Batting fourth, Samuel Johnson. Keep an eye out for him. Batting fifth, Eli King. The starting pitcher for the Pirates will bat 5 in this lineup. True George will bat 6. Zachary, Cater will bat 7. Batting 8, Alex Hare. Batting 9, Eli Sisson. And batting 10, Bryce Harwell. Now, at the time that we got this lineup, Harwell was not yet present. And if he does not appear, he will not be included in that lineup. We're going to take a brief break and be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to Hutchison Park. Cohen Casimir, the left-handed bat, leads the Pirates off here. He'll face Jacob Hudak. Pirates under the direction of head coach Timothy Kirsch. This one's inside, 1-0. Radcliffe Martin Law, the sponsor for the Pirates. 4-0 your score.
Josh, I got 5.
5-0.
What to check on that between innings? You know
what? You're correct because Curry would have been the 5th run.
Okay, I was going to say, because I could very easily hit the button twice, so I'm by no means official.
I have runs for Hudak, Holt, Voidish, Turacek, and then Curry came across later, and he was the 5th run.
Okay, cool.
So I will correct that myself. 5-0 right now. Hudak working on Cohen Casimir. This one's going to miss outside, and Casimir gets us started for the Pirates with a leadoff walk. So both the Pirates and the A's enjoying a leadoff walk tonight. Now we'll see Isaac Kirsch. Now Isaac Kirsch, the last time Bill and I had a chance to cover this Pirates team, hit a line drive home run to center field. Center field, dead away center field, right around the 230 mark. And this ball went into the lake, so I would say the total distance was at least 240 feet. Cam Hayden working on trying to hold on to Casimir, who's given himself a lead off of first. Here's the pitch from Hudak. Kirsch not able to catch that one. Casimir does get down with the stolen base, though. On deck for the Pirates right now, Bryson Van Meter. Kirsch now with a runner in scoring position. He chops this one foul. Down the third baseline, Liam Turacek over at third base right now for the Athletics. We were told between the top of the first and the bottom of the first inning, the Athletics had one minor change to their lineup. Zavachin was going to play second base for him, so right now he's holding on Casimir. Pitch on the way from Hudak. This one skips across home, and Casimir easily drifts into third base. Hudak takes a look at Casimir. And here's the pitch. This one, well struck by Kirsch. Left center. Will it go? It is out of here. Isaac Kirsch has done it again. This one, we're going to say every bit of 225 feet to left center. Kirsch leaves the park. Now, Bill, that was a very different type of home run, whereas the previous one we had seen from him was a laser beam, a frozen rope to center. That one was a towering shot.
Yeah, that one had a little more loft on it there, Josh. You know, he really hit that ball solid.
Great piece of hitting for him, and now we're going to see Bryson Van Meter. Van Meter swings on this one and misses. Right-handed bat wears number 31 for the Pirates. 5-2 now your score. This one misses outside. Hudak will come set. He's going to offer the 1-1 here. Pitch on the way and fouled up. And this one is going to nearly strike a vehicle. Maybe that did strike a vehicle, Bill.
It sure sounded like it.
Owners of that vehicle, I believe, are seated next to it, and they checked on it pretty quickly. Did not seem too distressed. One-two pitch now. Pitch on the way. This one's going to be fouled off toward the A's dugout. Just for a reminder for those of you who perhaps may watch multiple divisions out here at Hutchinson, in 12U, no team may score more than 6 runs in an inning during the first 5 innings of the game. If there are less than 3 outs when a team scores 6 runs, the team will then change sides with their opponent. This does not count the 6th inning. And here's a good hit into left field off the bat of Bryson Van Meter. And he picks up a single for himself. And we'll see Samuel Johnson.
Well hit ball there by Van Meter.
Yes, absolutely.
Had some heat on that one. Some exit velocity, as we like to say.
Oh, yeah.
If you missed our conversation about that last night, to go look up the 10U games from last night. Josh had a nice explanation of a bunch of different statistics.
Some of those, of course, are relatively new, too, in the baseball world. Here's a throw out to third.
Got him.
And they get Van Meter as he tries to advance to third base. So he had made it up to second base, but he is then caught here going to third. So Samuel Johnson is going to bat now with nobody on. One down, pitch to Johnson, hit on the ground. Zavachin up with it. Throw on to Cam Hayden, going to bring Hayden off the bag. And Johnson's going to make it to first base. Good hustle there by Johnson to make sure he was in place. And good hustle too, Bill, because, you know, really at every stage of the game, it's tempting on that sort of hit to say, oh, they got me, and give up.
Right, absolutely. You know, he didn't concede the out and was hustling the whole way and made it on the overthrow.
This one is going to be hit foul. So 0-1 for Eli King. Hudock will check on Johnson. Bottom one, score right now 5-2, courtesy of Kirsch's two-run homer. Throw back over. Johnson is back in time. Samuel Johnson wears the oven mitt that we love to see so often. This pitch is going to hit home plate, pop up in the air, and Johnson easily able to make it down to second base. So another runner in scoring position now for the Pirates. Hudock again going to check on Samuel Johnson. Now he'll come set. And the pitch to King. Swinging on, and King misses this one. Happy birthday from the South Union Township Sports Network to a couple of former players. One current player, one former player from the world of Major League Baseball. Happy birthday to Jose Molina, one of the famous catching Molinas. This one skips across the plate, and now Johnson's on the move, and he's going to make it over to third base. So another run for the Pirates, now just one station away. Some may be more familiar with Jose's older or younger brothers, Benji or Yadier. Jose born today in 1975. And the other, happy birthday to Harrison Bader, born today in 1994. This one's hit on the ground to short. Johnson should score easily, and King is able to leg that one out. And we're going to give him an RBI single. Good hustle there by him. And now we'll see True George. Pitch on the way from Hudock. Runner goes. George fouls this one back, and Eli King turns around and trots back to first base. Bottom one. 5-3. Now the score.
One down. It's been a long first inning, Josh.
It has. Bill and I were, and here's a possible rundown. No, the pickoff throw gets away from Hayden, and King is able to make it down to second base. Bill and I had talked previously about the amount of offense we expected to see tonight. Both of these teams in this game, of course, pretty evenly matched. We expected a lot of runs to be scored. And in the next game, the 7:30 game, we knew that both teams had the capacity for scoring dozens of runs at times. Now King is going to purposefully drift between second and third, and he's going to pull out the A's catcher who chases him back to second base.
Is that Curry behind the plate there, Josh?
That is.
Man, nice play by him, the heads-up play to run out the runner, force him back to second.
Yeah, he did a good job of not forcing anything that could have been costly for his team. We have seen at this age teams capitalize on the overthrow quite frequently. King into third base, but George down on strikes. 2 out.
Well, Josh, we might hit your over-under in this game alone.
I thought about that.
If we keep up this pace, we're on pace for 48 runs. If we go 6.
I had told Bill
Holy
across
cow.
the entire evening as Hudak takes a look at the runner on third. Now here's the pitch home to Cater. Cater swings and misses. I had told Bill beforehand, given that we expected a lot of offense, that I wondered if we would see across both games and accounting for all 4 teams more or fewer than 35 and a half runs. Pitch on the way here to Cater. This is the 0-1, now an 0-2. I picked that number, Bill, for fear that it only took one of the games to be a low-scoring contest to really.
Well, Josh, to be honest, I went with just the Phillies scoring 25 runs in that one game we did earlier in the season to say, hey, I think they're good for at least 15.
Yeah, the Phillies, very high-powered offensive capacity for that.
I like my odds right now. We got 8 already in the first inning. The chance for another.
And this is a drop third strike. We'll see if Cater's able to make it. Throw out to first. Gets Cater, and Cater down on the strikeout. So, as Bill pointed out, we have played one. We're going to go back to the Athletics. In the top of the second, your score 5-3. Already 8 runs of offense here tonight at Hutchison Park. Little League Baseball, 12U, and we come back on the South Union Township Sports Network. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. We'll take a moment and recognize our sponsors tonight. We could not be here for HARC Baseball without them. So very much a thank you to these local businesses who have supported us so greatly. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis and Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and the South Union Township Supervisors, Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you were watching this game on BreezeLine or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for program updates. Facebook.com/South Union TV. Subscribe for notifications when we go live. Pirates back in the field. The A's hold on to a lead. Pirates got a couple of those runs back off a 2-run home run hit by Isaac Kirsch, a really towering shot off of Jacob Hudak. Hudak otherwise did a pretty good job bearing down on the Pirates and not allowing too much else after that. June 3rd, 2025, this the first of 2 games. Today, June 3rd, Bill, is World Bicycle Day.
Oh, I have to get my bicycle out after this game.
Celebration of the bicycle. Isaiah Nicholas to get us started for the Athletics. He is the final batter of the A's lineup, so back to Jacob Hudak after this. Hudak is on deck. King continuing to work for the Pirates, and this one is way up. Nicholas will leave that one in the attic, and the count goes to 1-1. We'll see if King picks up where he left off. 2 consecutive strikeouts, this one down low, 2-1. The bicycle is believed to have existed since at least the 1830s in some capacity, although it was not common to see a bicycle in use until the 1860s or even the 1870s in some parts of the world. This one misses high, 3-1. I always found that fascinating, Bill, because the bicycle, as far as its design is concerned, relatively simple, and history may have been very different if you have the bicycle introduced, let's say this one fouled back and into some moving traffic, but the ball perfectly splits two vehicles. Really could be interesting if you maybe had the bicycle introduced back in the 17th century or the 18th century. May have a really effective transportation. This one upstairs, and Nicholas is going to draw the walk to get inning number 2 started. Jacob Hudak back at the plate. Last time through, Hudak walked, scored after he stole a base. He was the first run to score this contest. He'll bat this time with a runner on first. Bryson Van Meter playing first base for the Pirates, looking to hold on. Nicholas. So far, the Athletics have seen several pitches upstairs. Pitch on the way here from King. This one's going to be low. 3-0 count. The Pirates under the direction of Timothy Kirsch. Their sponsor is Radcliffe Martin Law. Of course, we really appreciate our coaches and our sponsors here for HARC Baseball, both of which make this league happen. This one back up high, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Jacob Hudak. 2 runners on now, no one out yet here in the second inning. A's looking to build upon a 5-3 advantage. Garrett Holt will step in. Again, the South Union Township Supervisors presenting this game for you tonight. The South Union Township Sports Network from Hutchison Park, just outside of Hopwood. 12U Little League. The Pirates and Athletics, June 3, 2025. Up high again. Good job as Casimir stays with that one, tracks it down, and gets the ball back out to King. Joshua Scully and Bill Dice here with you tonight. And thank you once again to Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable, for making the South Union Township Sports Network possible. This pitch goes behind Holt. Beautiful evening tonight. The sun just beginning to settle behind right field. The shadows becoming somewhat longer. A slight breeze actually coming in now from home plate, blowing out to right field. This one is going to miss low. Of course, last night, Bill, I think we had a little breeze at the end of the evening coming off of Lake Hutch, and that cooled the field off very quickly.
Yeah, once the sun went down last night, it really, like you said, it really did cool down last night. So hopefully, for our sake, it happens again tonight, because I'm really burning up in here. I don't know about you out there.
Warm evening tonight.
Allergies seem to be getting both of us.
Yes. Maybe the breeze bringing in some pollen from the tree cover outside the park, and the Pirates want to have a conversation about their situation before Max Voitish comes to the plate. So we'll take a short break here, too, on the South Union Township Sports Network, and we'll be right back with the continuation of the second inning, Pirates and Athletics. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. New pitcher in for the Pirates, number 44, Eli Sisson. And he's going to start to loosen. And maybe we'll see another pitching change here real quick, Bill. We're, in fact, going to go with number 3, Samuel Johnson. And so Johnson will start to loosen. Sisson is going to be sent into the outfield for now. Bill, you know, I've often joked, and we appreciate the support we've received in our efforts to do this. This is our second season getting out here for the South Union Township Sports Network to cover these games. And we've done everything from T-ball to coach pitch, 10U, 12U. But, Bill, we did, well, I shouldn't say we, I will say I. We started to draw a little bit of criticism today from some of the other age groups who saw us here last evening. It turns out you and I had several former students here who were either playing 14U or softball and who walked by and saw us here covering the 10U game. And several students walked up to me today and said, well, we've never even heard you ask us about coming to cover our games.
A little jealous, huh?
Maybe.
Jealous of the younger
I
younger
even had
groups.
one young lady who was here to play softball even describe the outfit that I was wearing. She said she was going to ask us why we weren't here to cover as Samuel Johnson goes 1-1 in this count to Max Voidish, and then she realized that we were actively working and did not
Josh,
say anything.
And I'll give you a quick answer on this one. We actually were trying to do some softball earlier in the season, then we had a schedule conflict and game got changed and we had bad weather. And
the weather was really difficult throughout
And down
May.
on the Nichols field, we have no electricity in the outfield. So we're really limited of where we can set up there.
Right.
So that makes it difficult. So unless they get a game on this little league field here, it's going to be difficult to get one of those softball games in. But we'll try. We'll take a look at the schedule, see what we can do.
The HARC website, of course, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the website has a great deal of information, team schedules, rosters. Here's the pitch from Johnson, and this one's going to be inside for a ball. And, Bill, we've got a comment from someone listening to us online, and you had mentioned this earlier, so maybe it is a technical difficulty you're already aware of. But the comment is that you sound very low.
Yeah, there's a short and a quarter or something. So hopefully we can work it out.
That walk drives in a run. Voidish drawing the walk off of Samuel Johnson, who is definitely bringing a little more heat. Now Johnson is going to face Liam Turacek, the number 4 batter in the A's lineup. This one gets fouled back off the links. Turacek walked last time and scored a run.
Josh, really we need like a third person here to just like work out our kinks every game. There's always something going on. We're trying to operate the camera, score hub. You're trying to do the play-by-play. I'm trying to throw a couple comments here, there, everywhere, So we could really benefit from a third person on this crew.
Yeah.
Once in a while we get Manny Dice out here.
Yes, we did.
But sometimes that's more of a hindrance than a
Well, Manny
help.
was helping me with trivia last night, which was great. This one upstairs from Johnson.
He went with a little trick question, too.
He did, which I kind of liked.
Thinking outside the box. See, look, now I'm having trouble with the score hub again.
Score is 6-3 by my count right now. This one's in for a strike. Johnson putting some heat on some of these for the Pirates. Second inning, 6-3, 9 total runs. We said the over-under for the day across 2 games, 35.5. So we're well on that way, and this one could really help that.
Nice
No,
catch.
it's caught in left field. What a catch. But the throw gets away to second base, and one at least is going to score off the throw. Jacob Hudak coming around to score for the second time, 7-3. Great catch in left field. That ball was pretty well hit, too. One down for the Athletics here in inning number 2. Cameron Hayden, left-handed bat at the plate. Going to show bunt, take a strike. Ball gets away from the catcher. And we have a foul tip called, so they're going to turn around the base runner, Garrett Holt, and send him back to third. Second game tonight scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Skies should remain clear. Temperature may be dipping to about 78 for that one. 82 degrees for the first pitch of this game. Quite a bit warmer than yesterday. But as Bill pointed out, too, we've got a breeze going out here tonight that, as I look around the field, even among the spectators, that one down low seems to be bringing some pollen onto the field, and we've even got some folks in the dugout with tissues out. This one hit on the ground by Hayden. Going to be played at second, knocked down. One run will score. That's Holt. And Hayden's going to have himself an RBI single. Good piece of hitting there by Hayden.
So Josh, how many runs do you have?
Right now I have the score as 8-3.
3, okay.
And here's how I have that, Bill, just to make sense of it for myself. The A's had 5 in the first. They led off here with a walk. Then Hudak walked. Maybe they do have one more than that, Bill, because if Nicholas came around to score, they would have 9. Scoreboard not on tonight. Curry at the plate. Runners on second and third. And Voidish is going to be caught off at third base here. Two down. So, Bill, maybe it is 9-3. We're going to confirm that. This one in for a strike against Curry. Casimir wants to walk this one out, share a few words with Johnson, and now Johnson will return to the mound. We're going to check that score for you here in just a few minutes. This one fouled back by Curry. I do have Hudak coming around to score. Holt scored. And if Nicholas scored, that does make it 8. This one going to miss inside. So that's going to be my official guess here, Bill. 8-3. A 9th run is represented right now by the courtesy runner for Cam Hayden, and he's going to be stranded at second as Curry strikes out. So we're pretty confident here as we head into the bottom of the second inning. Your score is 8-3 in favor of the Athletics. Thank you again for those of you joining us online. Pretty good audience for us online this evening, so thank you again for that. And we're going to turn now to our birthdays. This one is a bit of an interesting birthday. We've already acknowledged Jose Molina and Harrison Bader, who were born in 1975 and 1994, respectively. On June 3rd in 1808, Jefferson Davis was born, and for those of you who enjoy American history, you may best remember Jefferson Davis as not only an American military officer and statesman, but then the only president of the Confederate States of America during the American Civil War. Jefferson Davis, the only Confederate president, born today in 1808. He did survive the American Civil War, actually lived for many years beyond that. Today, also the beginning of the Gettysburg campaign in 1863, for those of you who enjoy visiting Gettysburg. Might have a chance to visit Gettysburg myself this fall. Although I have to look at that now, Bill, because I don't know if you pointed it out to me or maybe someone else did. The Uniontown Red Raiders football team have had a game moved to a Saturday.
They have had a couple changes, but that was not from me. I think they had somebody drop off, then they had to reschedule somebody else, and I think that was the only day they could get or something.
Have to take a look at that. Maybe reach out to Mr. Kaufman, who does a great job at Uniontown Area School District as the athletic director. Usually he's out here walking his dog just about
well,
now.
you know what? He'll probably be out here in a little bit.
Have to keep an eye out for him, and we'll get the information right from the source.
If he's listening, bring me down a Pepsi. I could use something cold to drink.
The Uniontown Red Raiders playing an independent schedule this season, but planning to rejoin the WIPIO in football. And, Bill, we had a box of tissue delivered.
Oh, wow. Where'd that come from?
My wife, I believe. And what's really impressive about it is how did she get it all the way up here without us hearing it?
She's like a ninja.
You need a tissue, Bill.
Thank you very much. I do.
Well, that's excellent.
The one I was using, I had to wring out a couple times.
Yeah, me too. Alex Hare going to get us started in the bottom of the second inning.
You know, Josh, my son Manny, he's playing on the Meadowbrook field tonight. They're using walk-up music.
Really?
To the plate, yeah, so he's pretty excited about that. So I was thinking, you know, you were talking about the nicknames earlier. We need to go through and get a nickname for each player before next games we do.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Or we could just make up nicknames for everybody, which could also be fun.
A lot of great nicknames in baseball. Often using the word big, the big hurt, the big unit. Pitch on the way from Hudock to Hare. Hare swings through this one. Of course, Jacob Hudock's father is Alex's music teacher and band director. So
the famous musician.
Yeah, Mr. Joel Hudock. Alex lets this one go 1-1. Alex plays the trumpet.
No, Josh, Mr. Hudock, I just call him famous. He may say infamous. So
yeah, maybe. I guess it probably depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
I would say, generally speaking, famous. Hare going to go down now 1-2. I can confirm, Bill, I do see Mrs. Scully on the move. This one inside 2-2. She's out there by the geese.
She better watch out. I hear geese can be dangerous at these times.
Oh, yes.
Now, Josh, that box of tissues had to be sitting there for some time.
I would think so.
Because there's no way she could be that far out there.
Hare down on strikes. It looks like the tissues were delivered at 6:18. So about 7 minutes ago. Well, that's when I got a text that said there's tissue by your feet. Eli Sisson at the plate. One out. Nobody on. Sisson going to move himself in the batter's box. He's down 0-1. Following Sisson to the plate will be Bryce Harwell. This one swung on and missed. Harwell on deck right now. Bill, if you've never seen an angry goose before, they will hiss. Almost sounds like a snake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are quite feisty in their own way. Here's the pitch. This one downstairs, and Sisson's going to leave it there. Hudak will kick and deliver. Here's the pitch, and Sisson is going to swing on and miss this one. He's down on strikes. That is 4 consecutive strikeouts for Jacob Hudak.
And Hudok's settled in here, Josh. You know, he's throwing some nice pitches, getting some swings and misses. Really doing a nice job.
He's going to face Bryce Harwell. And, Bill, if my wife would receive my message, I had mentioned to her that, here's the pitch from Hudak. This one's in for a strike. I had mentioned to her that you might enjoy a cold Pepsi. I do have cash in my vehicle.
Oh, that's all right. Don't hurt me.
And the concession stand is open. Oh, and Billy forgot to mention that. I will have to mention that after this pitch. Harwell shows bunt, pulls it back. This one going to be taken for a ball. I have my Jeep parked down the left field line, and the top is open. Now, these kids are 12U, so somebody can probably get it out there. I'm about 180 feet down the left field line. Bill, are you still good before I share this?
I'm in.
Okay. We're going to share this after the next pitch. Harwell shows bunt. Bunt goes behind him.
Josh,
off the
before you
links.
get to that, I believe that's the first bunt attempt we've seen so far this season.
I think so, too.
Harwell bunting for a base hit.
We had a couple show bunt and then immediately pull it back.
Yes.
Bill and I had started this last evening. If anyone hits a foul ball into my open Jeep, it has to land in the Jeep as Hudak comes set here. Offers this one. This one is going to be popped up and off the links, and a gentleman popped up to protect his vehicle there. Good idea.
Yeah, it looked like it was going right towards that, whatever kind of car it is over there.
But we're going to donate the money we would be paid to broadcast this game. We're going to donate that money to Fayette Friends of Animals. If someone hits a foul ball into my Jeep, and for the next game we're going to have another charity, but we're going to make the same offer. 2-2's the count with 2 down. Definitely not an impossible target. We have seen foul balls get over there before. Some folks driving by giving Bill and I a wave. Swung on and missed, and Harwell is a 5th consecutive strikeout for Jacob Hudak, who is really looking sharp here through 2 innings of play. We're going to head now into the 3rd inning. Pirates and Athletics, your score 8-3. These teams, by the way, in action again on Thursday, so they're going to be really familiar with each other by the end of this week. If you're watching this game on BreezeLine or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television, or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for program updates, facebook.com/South Union TV. Subscribe for notifications when we go live. The South Union Township Sports Network is a cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and BreezeLine Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith, Joshua Scully, and Bill Dice with you tonight. And Gary, if somehow you're listening, we hope you're well. Had a chance to work with Gary on CUTV back in November. Broadcast the Penn West California and Penn State Fayette basketball game. That game went pretty heavily into Penn West California's favor.
As you would expect, being a division above Penn State Fayette.
Right.
But it was a fun game nonetheless for the local
Oh, yeah,
fans.
good crowd came out for that one. Of course, some local talent on both sides
That always
as
helps.
far as that game goes. And good crowd came out to watch that one. It was exciting to see some former high school players back in action. Penn West California, not only a division higher, but also a very good team. They had a great season. Several players on that team are genuine scorers, can do a lot of the scoring by themselves. Today, June 3rd, is the anniversary. Boy, I did not realize how many Civil War-related events we had here.
It just shows how much of a history teacher you are.
Yeah, today, June 3rd in 1864 was the Battle of Cold Harbor. Significant Confederate victory in the latter stages of the American Civil War. Ulysses S. Grant coming up on the losing end of that against Robert E. Lee. Grant, more often than not, contrary to what is often historical opinion, Grant more often than not got the better of Lee in the latter stages of the war, but not today in 1864.
All right, Josh, we got Van up again.
Yes, so
what's
it's time
nickname
for
number
Van's
2?
new nickname. So Van Bicker, who
He was Van the Man.
was Van the Man, and I told him this one, he told me this second, and I said this one was really appropriate given our current location. He said he is sometimes known as Van the Train Man. and I said,
now that you say, I remember Van being a big fan of trains back in his younger days, so that makes a lot of sense.
and he's going to hit this one on the ground, and the Train Man is full steam ahead to first base, and he's out by a step. Very close. Van Bicker pushing it the whole way.
Nice play by Johnson, the bare-handed off the mound.
1-3 on the putout. Great hustle.
Van with the hustle. Josh, I thought you were going to throw a train reference in there on that. Out by and I couldn't think of any.
Out by a tie. Out by a few pieces of ballast. Out by a coupler, maybe.
Yes.
It could have worked. This pitch is going to miss outside Silas Mitchell. I told Van it was appropriate, of course, because we've got
the train tracks.
the Southwestern Pennsylvania Railroad line here that connects Connellsville to Smithfield, running right next to the field. This one hit on the ground by Mitchell, deep to short. This is going to be a tight play. Throw on to first, and
Wow.
another great play by the Pirates. 6-3 on that put out. Wow.
Nice throw there by George.
Yeah, true George at short.
He must have learned that in gym class somewhere along the way.
I would think so. That was a sharp throw.
All those games of dodgeball he's been playing.
Good looking throw.
Now,
That was,
they did have a big kickball tournament yesterday at Ben Franklin, too, so maybe he got nice and loose and
yeah, I could see that.
strengthened that arm a little bit.
Griffin Zavachin at the plate here. 2 down, top 3. True George made that throw from deep short, nearly standing in left field. Swinging on here, Griffin Zavachin. Zavachin had been most recently playing second base for the A's. This one upstairs, Zavachin leaves it there. No one on for the A's here. The Pirates possibly looking at a quick top of the third. And there it is. Strikeout, 1-2-3. Samuel Johnson gets him here, top 3. We're going to go to the bottom of the third inning now. Pirates and A's coming to the plate, top of the order for the Buccos. In the bottom of the third inning, they trail by 5, 8-3. The Pirates, of course, sponsored by Radcliffe Martin Law, their coach, Timothy Kirsch. For the Athletics, Sproul's Insurance Group, their coach, Dan Schiffbauer. We cannot say this enough. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our coaches who give so much of their time and energy to make this league possible. 12U Little League. Bill and I were in action last night for 2 10U games, and we're back in action again tomorrow evening with a T-ball matchup. 5:30 on that, Bill?
Yes.
At Meadowbrook.
Yes, Meadowbrook will be down there. Hopefully, it's nice out like today. We'll have the tent out, giving us a little bit of shade. And, if you're not out doing anything, come on down and, watch the little guys play. They'll put a smile on your face, guaranteed. And like we said last night, Josh, you'll probably see at least one thing in that game you've never seen on a baseball diamond before. So come on down.
Oh, yeah, I would strongly second that. The T-ball games are a lot of fun. I enjoy the coach pitch games too, really. They're a lot of fun. These games, of course, are very competitive. And, this season in 12U, we've seen quite a few home runs this season.
Yes.
We've seen a grand slam. And a couple of them, we're not saying, now, Bill, talk about statistics. Not this season and potentially not next season, but beginning no later than 2027, Major League Baseball will track true home runs for Major League Baseball players. A home run that would have been a home run in a certain percentage of all ballparks.
Oh.
Therefore, eliminating the number of quote-unquote cheap home runs that players get maybe playing at a field that allows for cheap home runs. A really short porch and left, a short porch and right, something like that.
Well, Josh, let me ask you about this. The Colorado Rockies, I don't know the dimensions of their field. Even though I've toured the stadium, but they have the thin air. So you see,
more home runs.
A lot more home runs there. So what are they going to do about that stadium?
I don't think they're going to factor that element in. This one is going to be a called strike, like call there, against Cohen Casimir.
That's going to be interesting, Josh.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, I really enjoy about going to. I've been to a bunch of different stadiums, and I like to go and tour them, and, they're all unique. That's the one thing I really enjoy about
definitely
going to baseball stadiums, different ones.
Even here at Hutchison Park, every field in this complex, this one going to be upstairs, 1-1. Every field at this complex has its own character.
Yeah, obviously Fenway Park, you got the Big Green Monster. Ooh.
And this one is going to hit Casimir.
Then, Wrigley, you got the Ivy. Then the Houston Astros at one point had the hill in center field. That was rather unique. Every field stadium's a little bit different in Major League Baseball, which is cool.
PNC Park, of course, locally has some interesting dimensions.
They got the tall right field.
They do, which has even stirred some
wall.
scandal lately.
Negative.
Hudak checks the runner. 8-3 your score. The Pirates looking to battle back. Kirsch 1-for-1 tonight with a 2-run home run. Casimir easily into second. He's even going to scoot toward third base a couple of steps. And he's got his oven mitt on, too. Just caught a little bit of ESPN, Bill, 2 nights ago. Some broadcasters on ESPN were giving a very hard time to a professional baseball player who had taken the time on first base to put on his mitt to steal, and then he stole second base, but he slid in leading with the non-mitted hand. And he drew the ire of a few broadcasters there. Kirsch going to miss this one. Casimir, though, easily down to third.
Yeah, if you're going to wear it, you better lead with that hand, right? Or maybe he needs to wear 2 mitts.
Right.
maybe he's a switch hander.
You never know. It is incredible, though, how often you see those at every stage of the game. Very fashionable right now. Casimir, by my count, has 4 stolen bases here in this game. He's taken a healthy lead toward home. Kirsch will swing and miss. Kirsch got some real power, that's for sure. We've seen it so far this season. A couple of home runs from him recorded on the South Union Township Sports Network, including one earlier today. Hudak will check the runner. Now here's the pitch. And this one is going to be hit well to left center. It'll get down. Takes a few hops in the field. That's a single for Kirsch. And he will drive in a run. Cohen Casimir coming around to score 8-4.
Now, Josh, you mentioned the number of stolen bases Cohen has on the evening. So it made me think, who's the all-time leading steals leader for the Pittsburgh Pirates?
That's a great question. That's a good trivia question, actually.
So I just Googled it.
So you have the answer?
I have the answer.
So it's funny you mentioned that. Here's a pitch. This one's in the dirt. I don't believe it's this person as Kirsch is going to advance. But I just saw today someone online who was comparing some historical I'll paint this picture for you. We'll watch this pitch from Hudak. Hudak going to look back. Kirsch is going to take a step towards second base. Van Meter 1-for-1 tonight with a single. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on and missed. And Kirsch is going to make it down to third. Andrew McCutcheon has just tied Roberto Clemente with 240 home runs as a Pirate. Only 2 other Pirates have hit more home runs than McCutcheon and Roberto Clemente. A very popular Pittsburgh sports personality took great dislike at the fanfare that McCutcheon had received for doing so. Kershaw on third base. Here's the pitch, and that's a swing and a miss from Van Meter. The sports personality, who some of you may be familiar with, John Steigerwald, said that in the 70s, McCutcheon would not have even started, in his opinion, for most Pirates teams in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
He then began to compare McCutcheon to several Pirates from that era and said, you can't start him over this person, and this one is going to be hit past the hot corner. It's the hot corner for a reason, and Kirsch will score, and another single, and this time an RBI, for Bryson Van Meter, and now we'll see Samuel Johnson in an 8-5 ball game here in the third inning. Today, he had continued the list, and he got to Omar Moreno,
Okay.
who he pointed out had a tremendous number of stolen bases. Now, I don't know the exact number Omar had, but it was well into the hundreds, maybe even over 300 or 400. I don't know if someone historically from back in the day when stills were a lot more common had surpassed that number.
Well, I'll say this, Josh. I never heard of this individual before.
Oh, my. Okay.
Now, you're a little more into Pirate history, so you maybe have, but I've never heard of him. And he has a large number.
Hudak, first pitch to Johnson. Van Meter's going to go. This one's fouled back off the links, and Van Meter's going to have to go back to first. Well, let's hear it, Bill, because I truly have no idea.
This individual had 688 steals.
Okay.
He played from 1910 to 1926. Max Carey.
I have heard the name, but I would never have associated him with that number of stolen bases. Of course, stolen bases were much more a part of the game then.
Right.
For a while, stolen bases nearly disappeared from baseball altogether. This one is scooped very nicely. Throw on to first base, and what a stretch. At first base for the Athletics. That was wonderful work by number 10, Max Voitish.
Double X. Good play there by, who's on short? Is that George still?
I think George. Now I'm doubting myself.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it
either.
must be him at short.
He got the shades on.
Yes.
It's tough to tell.
I think that's him, though. Good-looking play, good-looking throw. Fielder's choice for Johnson. Van Meter moves to second. Eli King hits this one on the ground, and it finds its way through into right field. Van Meter is going to get the green light around third, and King is going to try to get into second. Now he thinks better of it, and he's going to drift back to first base. Van Meter has already scored to make this game 8-6. And King is back with an RBI single. We'll give him the RBI there.
So, Josh, the Oakland A's all-time leader in steals.
Got to go Ricky there, right?
Yeah, that was too easy. That's why I wasn't even want to give that one. But, Ricky Henderson's, Hall of Famer for a reason.
Going to correct myself here, Bill. This is True George at the plate.
My mistake.
Shortstop does resemble True George, and True George is going to let us find out who it is because he hits it right at him.
Double play.
And the double play is affected, and it's number 6 for the Athletics, so we definitely need to tip our cap to Garrett Holt.
Oh, Garrett Holt.
What a play.
Yeah, I was all I think the heat's starting to get to me, Josh.
Well, when you said it, I went right along with you because I even got the field glasses out, and I said, hey, it kind of looks like True George. And both of them have played shortstop really well.
They have a similar build.
Yeah.
8-6.
8-6 at the end of 3.
14.
We're scheduled to play 6. 8-6 is your score. Joshua Scully and Bill Dice here with you tonight. So here's a great, Bill, this is kind of a bizarre in this day in history. June 3rd, 1844. Now, many of you who are familiar with the animal kingdom, of course, in this game, any foul ball hit into my Jeep, we're going to donate our pay to Fayette Friends of Animals for this game. Many of you are familiar with the penguin. But, of course, the penguin only lives in Antarctica. You'll not find a penguin natively living in the Arctic Circle. Of course, that's the area around the North Pole. But at one time, there was an animal, a bird, that lived in the Arctic Circle that was remarkably similar to a penguin and was even sometimes mistaken in captivity for being a penguin. That bird was the great auk, A-U-K. If you look up a great auk, you're going to find a bird that is slightly different in build, but in coloration incredibly similar to a penguin. Unfortunately, today, in 1844, the last two known great auks were killed by fishermen on a small island off the coast of Iceland. So the great auk disappeared from the historical record. The last two known great auks today in 1844. This pitch in for a strike against Isaiah Nicholas, who walked last time, scored a run. This game now very close, 8-6 your score. Samuel Johnson, he's done a good job from the mound since coming in for the Pirates, and now he's ahead 0-2. Nicholas going to reset himself here and step back in. The Pirates and Ace here, 12U Little League action at Hutchison Park, Little League field. And this is a strikeout. And they've got to complete the strikeout. Casimir cannot find the ball. No, check that. Casimir is not behind the plate right now. He had started the game as the catcher. This is Bryce Harwell. And although that's a strikeout, Nicholas is going to get first base.
Now, Josh, I know we were real big on the rule book last night. I don't know if you have it on you again tonight.
Yes.
What's the time limit on these 12U games?
I can get that for you. In fact, I had just looked at that. The time limit for Little League games shall be 2.5 hours from the time the game is started. And they go 15 minutes before that to any particular inning. So after 2 hours and 15 minutes, the subsequent inning will be completed if they're in an inning during that time.
2:15.
This one going to miss inside, and Nicholas hustles back. We've got a ball game on our hands here. Prior to this game, Bill and I had talked about total runs scored over the course of the evening. We said 35.5, and we invited folks to guess the over-under on that. We knew we'd see a lot of offense, but it only takes a couple of innings of good pitching to really drive that number down.
Yeah, we saw a really good third inning, Josh, by the number of runs. But we're still looking at 14 right now.
Right.
You would need 17 and a half, 18 runs to be on pace for this game.
Hudak not chasing that one. And the good way to look at it here, Bill, is we're essentially, for the evening, by inning at the 1/4 mark.
Right.
So if you've already seen 14 runs scored, we're on pace for 56. The PSSA taught me that.
Hey, even teachers learn something every now and then.
That's right. This one down low, and Hudak's going to draw the walk. Hudak tonight has drawn 3 walks, and every time he's walked, he's come around to score. We'll see if the Pirates are able to limit the Athletics this time. 2 runners on, nobody out.
So what you're saying is Hudak has 0 official at-bats, but 3 runs scored.
He could if he scores here. He's got 2
runs
for
scores.
sure, yeah. He also has a stolen base. You know, we talked about nicknames, Bill, and I'd mentioned the Big Hurt and the Big Unit. Of course, the Pirates and their history, Roberto Clemente, the great one. This one's going to skip across home plate and be gathered up by Harwell. Runners stay at first and second. What I liked about Ricky Henderson is that he referred to himself as Ricky.
Ricky, yes, Ricky does this. Well, funny story about Ricky Henderson. the one year he got injured early in the season, missed practically the whole season. And Harold Reynolds was the league leader that season, and he had like 58 stolen bases or something. And he called Harold up and said, "Harold, Ricky, have at it at the break." Like, that shouldn't even count. And, of course, I always think, the movie we talk about all the time, there's it.
Yes, well hit. It's going to find its way into left. Ball going to be cut off in left field. Throw back to short. Nicholas going to push it for home. We're going to have a play at the plate. And Nicholas is out at home. And the throw back out to third base is saved from escaping into the outfield. Isaac Kirsch doing a good job there to get there. Nicholas.
No, Josh, like I was saying, we, or I at least, referenced the movie Major League a lot. And I always think the character Willie Mays Hayes was portrayed after Ricky Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I would think that.
I always get that feeling.
That had to be what they were going for.
Ricky Henderson, he was the all-time leader at one point of leadoff home runs. I don't know if that record still holds true.
I always thought in that game, or in that movie as well, the pitch here, going to be in for a strike. This is Max Voitish, double X, as we know him. The character of, and I believe his name is Roger Dorn, the veteran.
Third baseman?
Yes.
Yes.
I always wondered if they were, drawing some Cal Ripken-esque vibes for him. This one fouled back, and ball's going to come in. They said no touch on that. I would have swore that was a foul tip. But the home plate umpire says no, and a run scores to make it 9-6. Garrett Holt moves down to second.
So, Josh, we're going to have to do some research on that to see if those characters were portrayed as anybody.
This one skips across home. I wonder now, even saying that, and this throw to third base is going to get away. Good scoop there. And the ball is saved by True George. But I wonder if Cal Ripken already had that sort of reputation as the veteran presence. By that time, of course, that would have still been somewhat early in Ripken's career.
Yes, I think at that time, he was probably still playing shortstop as well.
Right,
so,
I think he was still at short.
Because that was probably early 90s that movie came out.
Right.
Because I was even thinking Wade Boggs when you said that, but Boggs was still been relatively young in his career too.
Maybe Boggs, though, more in the persona. Boggs, of course, was a big liver,
yes,
supposedly.
He's a great autograph signer.
This one upstairs, and that's going to be a walk. Signs a lot of autographs, does he?
Signs a lot of autographs. I got him quite a few times through the mail.
Wow.
Small donation to him, and sends your card back or item back signed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite a hobby. We'll have to talk about it off air one day.
Turacek's going to swing and miss. Voitish is down to second base, 9-6 with Holt and Voitish.
Josh, we have a
lot
of runs in this game, but we haven't hit the 6-run threshold yet.
No, it's been pretty balanced. Here's one hit hard back into center.
Two. That's going to get two.
And that's easily going to get two. Ball gets away. Turacek is going to stop at first, but that's a 2 RBI single.
Hard hit ball.
I correct that. 2 outs, 1 out. Out at home as Nicholas had come around to score, and the throw just beat him.
Let's see.
11-6 now your score. 3 runs in so far for the A's. Cam Hayden at the plate. Working against Samuel Johnson. This one's going to miss. I think we should probably mention this too, Bill. We had mentioned on air that we had sent Mrs. Scully to get you a Pepsi.
Yes, and she delivered.
And she did deliver, but she said, for future reference, as Hayden swings through this one,
it's not Pepsi.
Only Coke products.
Yeah.
Yes, and we don't want to make Coke upset. Only Coke products here at Hutchison.
That's all right. I appreciate it nonetheless. It's cold. That's all that matters.
Hayden jumps out of the way of this one. Casimir, by the way, has moved from catcher for the Pirates out to second base. Pitch on the way. This one is going to be inside. Runner will go. Throw out to get him. Casimir was there, and good coverage there by True George to make sure that one doesn't get away. Stolen base for Liam Turchek.
You know, Josh, little story about True George. We were in school on Monday, and we were talking. One of the kids were asking him about his name. And they were saying, you know, your nickname should be false.
Well, I was even thinking about how to work that in without making it sound too obvious. We had a nice throw from him. You know, there's nothing false about that.
Right. Well, I always think, you know, the wrestler Kurt Angle, he had a big motto, it's true, it's true. So anytime I take a role, I'm always saying, where's true? It's true.
Truth had a nice game so far this evening. Has looked really good at short.
Yeah, nice little athlete. Believe he's a soccer player as well.
That never hurts. That'll keep you in shape at the very least. Swing and a miss here from Curry, and that's going to do it for the top half of the fourth. Back-to-back strikeouts recorded by Samuel Johnson. But the A's strike for 3, and they lead this one 11-6 as we move over now into the bottom of the fourth inning. I want to thank our umpires tonight. Our umpires doing a great job, working hard in the late June evening. I want to thank our sponsors, too, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and the South Union Township Supervisors, Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Bill and I shared earlier during the broadcast, today is World Bicycle Day, a celebration of the bicycle.
All right, Josh, we spent a big part of our game talking about nicknames tonight. Let's play a game. Now, which way would you like to do this? Would you like me to give you the player or their nickname?
Let's go nickname.
Nickname.
And I'll try my best to give you the player.
And I'm going to give you some not incredibly easy ones, but not incredibly hard. First one, Joey Bats.
Oh, I feel like I should know this one. Let me come back to that one.
All right, think about it.
Because I know that one.
We got a little time still? Yeah. All right, let's go with Oil Can Boyd.
Uh-oh, I might be in some trouble here.
Uh-oh.
Oil Can Boyd. Yikes, give me a third one.
Oil Can Boyd is Dennis Boyd, former pitcher.
I would not have got that.
Yeah, he played in the 80s. But he wasn't. That one's too easy. That one's too easy.
Oil Can Boyd.
Yes, you'll have to Google him. No, I didn't even know this one, so let's see if you do it. But it's a famous player, though. Oh, never mind. I read that wrong. We'll skip that one. It's Gary Maddox. I thought it was Greg Maddox. The Secretary of Defense.
No, I would not have got that one.
And I read it as Greg Maddox. I said, okay, I didn't know that one, but, you know, Greg Maddox is a very famous pitcher, so maybe you knew that. We still got time. All right, let's see. These are from MLB.com, but I'm not liking a lot of these. How about Kung Fu Panda?
Oh, I know that one. That is Pablo. Oh, my. My sister loved that player when I was a kid. He was a San Francisco Giant.
You got it.
Oh, my.
Sandoval.
Sandoval, yes.
The Kung Fu Panda.
Man, how did I forget about him?
The Say Hey Kid.
Uh-oh. I'm really bad at this game, Bill.
You are bad at this game.
The Say Hey Kid.
We were just talking about kind of about him.
Zachary Cater at the plate for the Pirates.
Willie Mays.
Wow.
We were just talking about Willie Mays Hayes.
That's right. This one almost hits Cater. Joey Bats, that one that one is like the Kung Fu Panda one because
I think he played for the Pirates at one point too, but this was not his nickname for the Pirates.
My goodness, maybe I should stick to the giving nicknames business. This one's going to miss outside.
Yes, he was a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates from 2004 to 2008.
This one upstairs and outside. I'm really beginning to question my sanity here, Bill. Maybe I'm one of those people who needed the school year to end last week. You're going to have to tell me now because it's going to drive me crazy.
The team he played for the longest was the Blue Jays. Does that help? Jose Batista.
Oh,
Jose
my,
Batista.
okay.
Joey Bats.
Man.
I wouldn't
See,
have got
I
that
should
one.
have easily got that.
But I thought you could have got that one.
Jose Batista. Boy, I remember when he started his career with the Pirates. He never really seemed to get the sort of play time I would have liked him to. He was not a bad player, and as soon as he left the Buccos, my goodness, he was different overnight. Had a great career with the Blue Jays. Garrett Holt on the mound now for the A's. He's going to face Alex Hare. Pitch on the way. Hare leaves this one upstairs, and the pitch gets away for a moment. I believe we've got Max Voitish behind the plate right now. You know, Bill, maybe as I'm thinking about some of them, I wonder if that's something you pay a lot more attention to when you're a kid as the pitch comes into Hare, and this one is in for a strike, 1-2. Because I'm thinking of like Juan Gone.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yep, the Big Mac,
Mark
Mark
McGuire.
McGuire.
Yeah, well,
know, I
Josh,
wonder
too, I
if-
think these were like kind of like big-time nicknames, I feel.
Right.
Like that was everywhere, it seems like. And my score hubs are going down again.
Hare down on strikes. Cater still on first base. Pirates looking for some runs here. Eli Sisson, a strikeout victim last time through. The Phillies and Rangers are in the house. They're scheduled for a 7:30 start. This pitch upstairs, and Cater's going to go. And we're going to see if they're able to get him, and it's very close. No, they call him safe. Cater steps around the tag from Jacob Hudak. That was about as close as you'll have it be.
Josh, we got one down?
One down.
Okay.
Alex Hare.
Bottom four, right?
Strikeout was the only out. This is bottom four.
Okay.
Pitch outside. Eli Sisson to be followed by Bryce Harwell. Score is 11-6, 17 runs. Pitch on the plate. Swing and a miss from Sisson. Pirates in their black uniform tonight. The A's in the green. Pitch from Hudak. And this is a called strike. 2-2 is the count. That one a bit up high in the zone, but still called a strike. Holt will kick and deal. Swung on and missed, and Sisson down on strikes. 2 consecutive strikeouts, back-to-back strikeouts.
Josh, here's another one. We talked about this player last night, the Sandman.
I'm going to have to guess Rivera.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I actually didn't know that was his
I didn't
nickname.
know that either, but that was a good context clue. Rivera, I think, put a lot of teams to sleep. Put them away. Bryce Harwell at the plate. I've got a deep cut nickname for you, Bill, that I remember from when I was a kid. This ball is going to be hit foul, hits the batter's box, and bounces foul. Tim Wakefield, when he came up with the Pirates, I want to say, and somebody can probably find this online for us, I vaguely remember them calling him the Wonder Kid.
Okay.
Someone who's listening online who may remember Tim Wakefield. Tim Wakefield, unfortunately, passed away quite early in life. This one in for a strike. Had a long pitching career, spent some time with the Boston Red Sox after he left the Pirates. I have a vague recollection of that. This is in for strike 3, and Harwell is down on strikes, and that's going to do it for the 4th inning, 11-6. The score holds. We'll flip it over and go to the top of the 5th now with the A's returning to the plate, and just in time for the nickname talk, Van Bicker blew up. Got a great Ricky Henderson story for you, Bill. Ricky Henderson, of course, in the latter stages of his career, he did bounce around a lot. Played on a lot of different teams. So this story, I don't share this story as a way to make him sound bad, but it was sort of ironic. Henderson was giving an interview one time, and he said, you know what's crazy is I'm freshly on this team, I'm new on this team, and the guy who's playing first base for us, he does something I have never seen done before except by one other player. I used to play with this other guy many years ago. He played first base, and the dude wears his batting helmet in the field. And the reporter said,
Same guy.
It's the same guy. It's John Olerud. He played with his batting helmet on in the field to protect himself due to a condition, and Ricky just had forgotten that he had played with John Olerud previously.
John Olerud, another good autograph signer by mail. I've got him a few times, yes. Speaking of autographs, I'm a collector myself, and whatever. But Ricky Henderson, funny story. We're on Ricky Henderson, kind of getting on him a little bit. There's a story about a kid coming up to him one time, saying, "Hey, Mr. Henderson, can I have your autograph, please?" And he looks at the kid and goes, "Ricky, don't do autographs," and walked away. Another funny story, Josh. We were talking about Harry Kaufman earlier. We went to the Baseball Hall of Fame enshrinement when Ken Griffey Jr. got inducted.
Okay.
So we're there. We spent the weekend there. We're walking around. This is like Friday night, Thursday night. And we see Tommy Lasorda come out of a restaurant. He's walking down the street. Kids, going after him, trying to get his autograph. And he sees this kid eating ice cream. He grabs the kid's ice cream, starts eating it, and keeps on walking. True story.
Well, when you make it big time.
So we got Van the Man,
Yeah.
Train.
Van the Train Man. Now,
So
does
he have a third one?
This is not a repeat. This might sound like a repeat, but it's the way it's stressed.
Oh, okay.
Pitch from Johnson, and Bickar is going to.
Is it like Van Da Man?
Well, you're very close.
Ah.
It is Van the Man. You got to stress the. He said he gets called Van the Man a lot, was called Van the Man. Now
I believe I called him Van the Man when I had him in school at one point.
He really likes Van the Man. He swings at this one. He's going to try to beat it out down to first base. The throw is there in time, and they retire Van the Man.
Yeah, Josh, I think this is something we should go for next game. To try to get a nickname from each player before the game, and we'll refer to him as that nickname.
I kind of like that. A little bit of flair.
Personalize it a little bit.
Silas
That's
Mitchell.
a rip.
And
Let's
wait,
go
hold
to
on.
the
This
Jeep.
one's headed to left.
Oh,
my
just hit it
goodness. It was
instead.
so close.
It just hit your Jeep instead.
Oh, man.
Silas Mitchell. Is that
Silas
his up?
Mitchell,
Oh,
yes.
Man.
That was very
Having
close.
a topic of discussion at school.
Man. Good contact there. That one, again, I'm parked 180 feet down the line.
Josh, why don't you tell them our little deal here if somebody hits one inside your Jeep?
Yes, just in case it
That
happens.
was close
that
right
was
there,
the closest
man.
one we've seen in 2 days.
Yes.
Pitch on the way from Johnson to Mitchell. Mitchell swings and misses. That's a strike. So if someone hits one into my Jeep, Bill and I are going to donate our pays from this game to Fayette Friends of Animals in memory of the great auk, which...
Because it's for the animals.
That's right, which went extinct today in 1844. And Mitchell is going to run on this one. He's got a good chance because this is a long throw to first, and they're able to get him by a few steps. I thought Silas had that one, though. It was very close from my perspective, and I'm sure from yours, too. It was tracking the right way off the bat, even had a slight hook to it.
Right. I got real excited there for a second.
That would have been pretty neat. Griffin Zavachin fouls this one off.
You know, Josh, we repositioned your table for tonight's game because we had so much action in right field last night. I don't think we've had one ball hit down there tonight.
I can see into right field really well right now.
As long as the table doesn't fall onto the field.
Score right now, 11-6, regardless of who has been at the plate. The last 5 batters have struck out, but Savachin is going to end that streak right now with a single into center field. And Griffin is now,
he's swinging the bat good tonight.
Yeah. Good-looking hit there, good contact. And we'll see Isaiah Nicholas. Nicholas has drawn a walk, scored a run, reached on a strikeout passed ball. Nearly scored on that one, was thrown out at home. This one skips across home plate, and Zavachin easily able to get to second base. It's really been a long time, as Johnson offers here, just a bit inside. It's been a long time since the Pirates have had a player who had really developed a nickname that stuck. You know, I know they call Andrew McCutcheon Cutch, but I suppose that counts. This one skips across the plate and is also outside.
All right, so let's get back to this game. All rise. I didn't know this was this guy's nickname either. But it's a current player, so
it's a current player.
That could be why I didn't know this.
I'm going to take a couple guesses at this one. This one is going to be in for a strike, but making it safely to third base is Zavachin. Because Otani has to have a nickname. This one is inside, but I'm assuming it's not him.
The big gamble.
Well, I don't think he would appreciate that. I'm going to say Mike Trout.
No.
Aaron Judge.
You got it.
All right.
All right.
That one makes a lot of sense. I thought about it. I wanted to think of – I just saw Mike Trout in a highlight last evening hit a really, really deep home run, and I thought, well, he's gets people on their feet. But then when I thought about it just a second longer, that is
How's
a
Mike
good
Trout
one.
doing?
You know, he's still kicking. His numbers aren't horrible. You know, he's not a young man anymore.
So I know. He was outstanding there for a while. Then he had some injuries.
Yeah, he's plugging along okay.
You know, I really don't follow baseball that closely, so I don't.
Nicholas gets down to second base.
You don't hear much about him, I guess.
He's faring better than someone who was.
What's his WAR?
This season, or you think all time? This season.
Either. This season to be.
Let's look that up.
Make more sense of this conversation.
So I was going to mention, you know, he's faring quite better than someone like Chris Bryant, who has also dealt with a lot of injuries lately and has not been good.
Wow, Chris Bryant, it seems like he's played for 35 years.
He's on the 60-day injured list. This one a called strike. The throw here is going to get away off the dugout, but be scooped up by Kirsch.
Did that ball hit the batter, or?
No, I think it just slipped out of his hand. Yeah,
that was. It almost went over the fence.
Jacob Hudak at the plate. Jacob has drawn 3 walks tonight. Here's the pitch from Johnson. This one is going to be struck. Hit right at Casimir. Casimir flips to first and gets him on the ground out, and that's going to do it for the top half of the 5th. 4-3 on the put out there. Good-looking work there by Casimir. By the way, speaking of Chris Bryant, who's now a Colorado Rocky, the Rockies just won their 10th game of the season last night, which is not very good.
And I saw where you're going, but go ahead.
And the number of people who were there to watch that game between the Rockies and the Marlins in Miami may have been less than the number of people we have here right now. So some of the numbers floating around online,
Like, is that true?
not true.
Okay,
Not true.
I was going to say because I saw
So-
like 147 people. or
Yeah,
something. There's
that was
no
not
way.
true. So the official numbers that I was able to find is that the Marlins reported about 5,700 tickets sold for that game and just under 1,200 people actually coming through the gates.
But still, that's really bad.
Right. That is very, very low. I'm sure even historically low for just about every team.
I'm
So-
sure Mr. Bob Nutting would be going crazy over that one
Oh,
because
my.
he would be losing money in electric on that game.
Yes, he would. Mike Trout, by the way, his WAR so far this season, and he has time to expand upon this. So a low WAR right now, we're not even halfway, not the end of the world, but a good player right now is going to be in the twos.
Okay.
His WAR is 0.2.
Oh.
His all-time WAR across his career is 86.2. He has recorded a WAR over 10, and remember we said last night anything 8 and over, MVP
It's
conversation.
right?
He's recorded a WAR over 10 twice. He has recorded a WAR over 8.8
What's his career average?
a
WAR?
total of 5 times. His career average in a 162-game season is 9.0.
Well, that's not too bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no, very good.
So when you get a full season out of him,
5-tool player.
yeah. Really, really good. Easily one of the best players of his generation, has spent his entire career with the Angels.
All right, now Josh, back to our nickname game. We got a couple more. Mr. October.
I know that one for sure.
If you don't get this, you stink at this game. If you don't get this
I'm terrible
one. My
at this
goodness.
game.
You're supposed to be a baseball historian.
Yes, jeez. Let me come back to that one.
All right.
I have to be able to get that one because I know it. I know it.
You're going to Google it, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to Google it.
All right,
I'm
now
gonna
this
say
one
it.
got mentioned by Mandy last night. Shoeless.
Joe Jackson.
Judge.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say,
Yes.
if my 8-year-old son knows this one.
Cohen and Cassim are going to get us started. The score remains 11-6.
Here's another good one. Charlie Hustle. Josh. Okay, I'm going to stop this game.
Oh, my.
Charlie Hustle.
I know.
I
these,
bet you
but I
there's
just
somebody in this
can't-
pirate dugout that knows this one.
I would bet that. This one is
You're
outside.
going to slap yourself after you hear this, too. Charlie Hustle.
Charlie
Don't
Hustle.
bet on it.
Oh, Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
This one's a swing and a miss by Casimir.
So, Mr. October,
I know I have to know that.
you want me to give you a team he played for?
Yeah, pitch on the way from Holt. This one's
The
upstairs.
Oakland A's. I believe he started his career with the A's.
How recent are we talking?
70s.
70s. This one fouled back.
He got his nickname from when he played for the Yankees, though.
Oh, when you said that, I figured it had to be a team. Obviously, it's in the postseason all the time. So
So you're like Oakland A's. How's that?
So
They don't make
right.
the playoffs.
And he started his career in the 70s. Every player that, as the pitch comes into Casimir here,
Uh-oh.
this one's fouled off and
Not quite.
to the street. Right direction, though. I feel like every player I've thought of who's played for both teams is way too recent to have started their career in the 70s. This one's going to be outside. Casimir draws a walk. The Pirates trail by 5, but they have a base runner, and they have the top of the order, which has been very good for them here. In fact, Isaac Kirsch is 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs, stolen base, and a couple of runs. This one's fouled back. Cassimer's going to have to retreat. Well, I do feel really badly for myself here, Bill, because
I think you're still reeling from losing your cell phone earlier.
yeah,
Before the
maybe.
game.
That was difficult.
That was a stressful situation there for a little bit.
Right.
Until we realized your stepson had it.
Glad I thought about that, because I was looking through the grass and on the street. I was worried it was going to get run over. And that's not the way you want to start summer break. The way you want to start summer break is with your cell phone intact, not broken.
Not waking you up in the morning for an alarm.
Yes. Woke up this morning and thought it was Saturday. When I realized it was only Tuesday.
Very soon, every night will be Friday night, Josh.
Yes. Very soon. Pitch on the way to Kirsch. Kirsch going to foul this one back. That's a sharp foul ball up. Nearly came right back down on top of him.
Hey, Cohen's going to start getting ticked off here at Kirsch. He was halfway to second base again before the ball was released, and he fouled it off. He's getting his steps in. He was behind the plate getting his steps in earlier in the game, Josh. He had quite a few balls he was chasing after.
And he's quick, too, because he gets way down there every time. This one is well struck by Kirsch, and it's going to get down and left. And Cassimer, again, big jump. He gets all the way to third base. Good-looking single there. Kirsch now 3 for 3 today.
Ball was hit hard. Nice play by Silas Mitchell to hit the cutoff man, keep the runner at third base.
Pirates really need to do well here and try to lessen their load for the last inning if they're going to complete this comeback.
Distance.
Oh, yeah. Just 5 runs. Bryson Van Meter, 2 for 2 tonight. He's got an RBI, scored a run, stole a base. Kirsch on the move. This one's going to be taken for a strike. Kirsch is down with a steal. This one hit on the grounds. Hudak up with it. He's going to go for the out at first. Does that well. Fielder's choice does score a run. 1 out. And the score is now 11-7. I'm thinking for Mr. October. Now, here's what's going to bother me.
We're still on that.
Yeah, because I want to take a guess, but what I'm worried is.
What if I give you his initials?
I'm going to write down who I think it is on the back of this paper. I just don't want to be comically wrong if I find out this person did not ever play for the A's, because when I think about this person, I do not associate them whatsoever with the A's, as this one is fouled off by Samuel Johnson. All right, give me the initials.
RJ.
Yes, I had it.
Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
You got it. Whew. Man.
Did not know he played for the A's.
No, that's who he started his career with.
Thought about that. I thought, well, I knew I had the right era with him. This one's a called strike.
And Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, he finished with the Angels, I believe.
That sounds right.
I think he ended up, made a short stint, kind of like a Franco Harris, the Seattle Seahawks type deal.
This one is popped up quite high.
That's high, wow.
Hudak got
nice
it.
Catch.
Good catch.
That ball was over the light, or that ball was over top of the light tower.
I'll tell you how I know Reggie Jackson the best from my childhood, Bill, is the movie The Naked Gun.
Oh, yeah.
He's featured prominently in that film.
Must kill the queen, they say.
That's right.
Well, wow. So Reggie Jackson played for not only the Angels, but also had a 1-year stint with the Baltimore Orioles. 1976.
His time with the Angels, when would that have been?
So that was the end of his career, 82 to 86.
Okay. Swing and a miss here.
Once again, thanks to Mrs. Scully for these tissues.
Yes, oh my, do we really need them?
I didn't have to keep wringing mine out.
Maybe we'll keep them in the press box for future use. This one hit on the ground well, and this is going to score a run. Isaac Kirsch delivers here. And King is going to try to go for 3. It's going to be very close. And he's in. RBI. Very well done.
Cuts it to 11-8.
Keeping it close. This inning started. Cassimer drew the walk. Kirsch, the single. Van Meter, fielder's choice, picked up the RBI. Samuel Johnson popped out. King, RBI triple. Makes it 11-8.
That's what you got. Good.
True George.
Trip to the mound.
Due up. Boy, this run would be big. As the A's take a minute to discuss, Holt gets a pat on the back from Voitish, who's currently working as the backstop for the A's. Last time we covered the Pirates and the Athletics, we shared that in Pittsburgh Pirates history at the major league level, their all-time lowest winning percentage is against the Athletics. This one popped up over the infield, and it's going to bounce foul.
Wow. Now, Josh, you mentioned the Big moniker and the nickname. How about Big Paupy?
Oh, yes, David Ortiz.
David Ortiz, I forgot all about him when you were mentioning those. The big unit, the big hurt.
David Ortiz, too, is somebody who, in this case, I do remember this. He started with the Minnesota Twins, even though he was associated with the Red Sox later on.
Yes.
This one in for a strike.
You are correct. And he's almost as famous for his on-air personality, Josh, as he is for his playing days. You know, I find him very entertaining.
Big personality. This one fouled back.
Kind of like a Charles Barkley-esque role, I think.
Yeah.
I kind
of see that from him.
kind of compare the two.
Charles
and I
Barkley.
enjoy both of them. But that Inside the NBA crew is an all-time great, though. In my opinion. Barkley, Shaq, Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet.
This one is hit by George, and that's going to pick up another RBI.
Let's go on to the fence.
This could be big trouble. George easily in at second. Run scores. And look out, 11-9. The game-tying run is coming up to the plate in the form of Zachary Cater. Well, Bill, there's some strategy to be had here. We'll watch the first pitch, and I'll share this with you. This is an interesting dynamic that's about to play out. Pitch from Holt.
Are they getting
Cater,
close to the
foul ball.
6-run rule?
Well, I don't think that could be their concern right now. They have just the 3 runs in this inning, so they could technically tie the game, but their bottom 3 batters in the order are all still looking for their first hit. And if Cater is not able to reach, that's who you have due up in the bottom of the 6th. Here's a called strike, 0-2. So I think if you're the Pirates, you really would like to see one more base runner because Cassimer, Kirsch, and Van Meter have been strong tonight. Samuel Johnson and Eli King have both fared pretty well, too. King, of course, 3 for 3. This one outside. Run's going to advance. Stolen base for George.
Josh, that's one of the plays right there as a base runner and a coach. You almost want to throw to third base with the chance of it going to the outfield to be able to score there with 2 strikes on Cater.
We'll see if they try to induce that throw. This pitch outside.
George is getting a big lead, so you got to think if this ball gets by the catcher, he might be gone. So that'd be another interesting thing to watch for this at bat.
Holt takes a look at the runner. And now he kicks and deals. This one down low. Cater takes a strike.
And Josh, don't forget, too, we have the 3rd strike got to be caught in this league. So that could come into play, be big here as well.
We've seen a few players reach on that.
Yeah, we had the 4 strikeout inning earlier.
This is a big pitch on the way to Cater.
Oh,
Cater
that's ripped.
Sends this one into right center. It's going to get down for a hit. And Cater's going to hold at first base, but he drives in the run. That's a huge play. 11-10 is now your score. 4 runs in for the Pirates. That's going to bring Alex Hare to the plate with the tying run on first base. Hare 0 for 2 so far. Struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and he's going to take a strike here. 0-1. Pitch on the way from Holt. Just a bit inside, 1-1. Due up, Eli Sisson. He's on deck. Pitch from Holt. This one's inside. Hare leans away from it. 2-1.
11-10, is that what you got, John?
11-10.
Okay.
Pirates have plated 4 runs so far. Here's the 2-1. In for a strike, now 2-2. Two-two pitch coming from Holt. Runner takes a lead from first. Here it is. And this one's outside. Count goes full, 3-2.
Runner on first is going to be off on the pitch.
So this is a big pitch here, Bill. This is going to keep the inning going potentially or bring it to its conclusion. 3-2 on the way. This one's down low. Hare draws the walk. And now Eli Sisson, who's also looking for his first hit, 0 for 2 tonight.
So, Josh, we're currently looking at 21 runs in this first game. So
right,
that
not
30,
looking so
35
good.
is not looking too good for you.
No. Really need the next game to be a pitcher's duel. Could be.
Could be. You never know. But both teams hit the ball well, so we'll see.
And Sisson is nearly hit by this one. One-0. Hare and Cater will take their leads off of first base.
Where are we at in the A's lineup, Josh? Just looking ahead.
This is in for a strike, 1-1. The A's are going to lead off with their number 2 hitter, so you're going to see the heart of the order there. Yeah, 2 through 4. Holt, Voitish, and Turacek, who have all been pretty strong tonight. Big cut here from Sisson, comes up empty.
Now, Josh, you mentioned it, though, that the Pirates have been able to almost turn the order over. So in the bottom of the 6th, they'll have
Yes.
the top of the order up at least.
Yes, they will.
The meat of the lineup, if you will.
This one's fouled back. Good-looking swing there from Sisson. Yeah, that's helped the Pirates out a lot because right now you've guaranteed yourself to get Casimir and Kirsch at the plate at least one more time.
And they both have very good speed, so they
Yeah.
can get on base. They can, produce a run.
They have fared pretty well. The A's, though, will have the heart of their order coming to the plate, so a chance to add. This one's outside, so Sisson has battled in the count. Harwell on deck. Cam Hayden looking to hold on Hare. Hare takes his lead. Now Cater does as well. Cater takes a big lead, nearly 1/3 of the way to third, but Sisson is down on strikes with a big cut here. And Bryce Harwell will be your leadoff batter for the Pirates when they return to the plate in the bottom of the 6th.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Harwell was a late addition to the lineup, so I don't think there's anything to take away from his ability at the plate. So that's
no, I don't think so
almost like
either.
a top order type of bat at the 9 spot or 10 spot, whatever they got.
So in this inning, you can score as much as you need to. Bill and I understand the rules, and we're going to read it here as part of the broadcast, just for everyone's clarification.
Now we're looking at 2 hours and 5 minutes, so this 6th inning can start since it's under the 2:15 time frame, right, Josh?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're good on that one.
It looks like they're talking about that right now, and the A's coaches have come over to confirm that, and I believe that has been confirmed for them. We are still within the time limit. No. That may be it. Pirates are coming out to play the field. The A's are going out to line up. So here's the rule for this age group. If a Little League team has a 12-run lead, the team with the lead will be given the win if 3.5 or 4 innings have been completed. The time limit for a Little League game shall be 2.5 hours from the time the game is started. And right now we are at the 2 hour and 6 minute mark. So I believe, Bill, based upon my reading of the rules, we are still within the limit.
Yeah, but your interpretation, we should be good, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we're looking at an old rule book. Maybe we got a date on that rule book.
This rule book is the one that is available online. That's what I see in the rule book for Little League.
If you have the over and the over-under, you definitely want to see this go another inning.
Yes, absolutely. Boy, could you talk about some real scandal.
Yes, scandal here at the HARC Baseball League.
Well,
Over-under.
That's what I'm reading. It says the time limit for Little League games shall be 2.5 hours from the time the game is started.
So and they can 5:30, right?
Yes, and they can start an inning as long as there is not more than 2.25 hours passed. That will be the last inning.
So we should be about 8 minutes before that time.
Yeah. So my reading of the rule is that we should play one more inning
here. This shall be interesting to see what happens. 11-10 game. I say let them play it. It's almost summertime. Half these kids are out of school already.
Right.
Finish the game. There's no time limit in baseball.
So it does look like we're going to play, and Bill and I do believe that's the correct decision based upon what we're reading, and we do believe this rule book is up to date. I just printed this yesterday.
As long as it's up to date on the website, that's all.
So here we go. 11-10, top of the 6th.
Let's play some ball.
A's have led throughout the contest. They've had some significant leads, too. They've led by as many as 8-3 and 11-6. And we've got a new pitcher for the Pirates, Bryson Van Meter, and he's going to start us off with a strike upstairs. He's going to face Garrett Holt, Max Voitish, and Liam Turacek. Now, the teams are not limited to the number of runs they can score here either.
We could see a 45-minute sixth inning here, Josh. And then the Rangers and the Phillies would really be upset.
This one going to skip in 2-0. And we're going to share with you as well, there is a provision for this type of situation, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment. 2-0 pitch coming from Van Meter. This one's way upstairs, and Holt has to duck out of the way of this one.
Josh, this gives both teams more opportunities to hit one into your Jeep.
Yes, it does.
To benefit the Fayette Friends of Animals.
Some folks are out there actually enjoying the game from their pickup. This is going to be a walk and a first base runner.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going into your Jeep and they jump up and catch it. And
right.
Rob the Fayette Friends of Animals.
I don't think that would happen.
Would that be something?
That would be. Van Meter now to face Voitish. Double X Max. Here's Holt on the move, and he gets into second base. Good-looking throw out there, though, but Holt's safe at second with a stolen base. So as far as this particular inning, teams may score essentially an unlimited number of runs. Holt will hold on this pitch. This is going to be the last inning regardless, obviously. This game can end in a tie. This pitch is going to skip under Voitish's feet. Holt gets a good lead toward third, but then he drifts back. This one goes over top of Voitish's head. Good move there by Holt to advance on a ball that gets away. That was otherwise a walk. So now A's on the corners for Liam Turacek, who was 1 for 2 tonight with 2 RBIs. also has drawn a walk, stolen a base, scored a run. This one misses, and Voidish will advance. 1-0. This one skips in. Runners now at second and third. Right now, the Pirates just trying to keep this as close as possible. This one hit foul. Rangers and Phillies will start about 20 minutes after this one concludes. This one inside. 3-1 count for Liam Turacek. He's going to be followed by Cam Hayden, Christian Curry, and Van Bicker.
Van the Man.
Van the Man. Van the Train Man. All of these at-bats important for the A's because, of course, the Pirates are going to get a last at-bat. Pitch to Turacek is up over his head, and that's going to load the bases full of athletics for Cam Hayden, who's got an RBI tonight. And the Pirates want to discuss. Head coach Timothy Kirsch making his way out. And I do think we're going to see a pitching change. And this is going to be True George, who was called to the mound.
It's true. It's true.
He's going to inherit a bases-loaded situation here against the Athletics in a one-run game. We want to thank our sponsors, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. 11-10 here, top of the sixth inning. If you're watching this game on BreezeLine or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for program updates. Nearly a pretty serious miscue there for the Pirates, but no harm done. 11-10, pitch from True George. This one hits the plate, pops up in the air, and then rolls back to the catcher. The A's with a chance to lead. Cam Hayden at the plate to be followed by Christian Curry and Van Bicker. Cam Hayden and Van Bicker, classmates at A.J. McMullen Middle School. This throw gets away, but good job there by True George to get back and cover home. Don't know about you, Bill, inside the press box area itself, but it has cooled off a little bit out here.
Not so much in here. I'm protected from the elements when included.
And this is a walk. Cam Hayden will pick up another RBI. Christian Curry comes around to score. No, check that. Christian Curry coming up to the plate. That's Garrett Holt coming around to score. to make this 12-10. And they're going to summon for a pitch runner here. And they're going to send out, I believe, Jacob Hudak. And we've got a car alarm going off behind us. Busy night at the park as we approach the 8 o'clock hour. Quite a few people are here to take in the next ball game, taking their spots in the outfield. Of course, several members of the Rangers and Phillies have some real pop. Someone might get a home run ball. This one hit off the plate. George going to take the out at first base. And that's going to be a force out. Draws in a run. 13-10.
13-10, one out.
One out. Now there's no force at home.
Yeah, I thought for a moment George might go to home. Try to cut that run down, but you got the out at first nonetheless. All right, Van.
Van, the man, swings through the first one. This could be a big at bat for Van with two athletics in scoring position. Van tonight.
That's Hudak on second, right, Josh? You got
Yes.
good speed.
Van down 0-2. Van did reach on a strikeout where the third strike was a passed ball. Van then proceeded to record a stolen base. Grounded out in the third, 1-3 on the putout, struck out after that. And this is a called strike. Throw down to first is going to get Van, so another pass ball on strike three. But this time they do get Van. That was a tough call there, Bill, on the last strike. That one looked, we don't have the view the umpire does. That one looked down and away.
Yeah, I think the umpires are starting to get a little hot out there as well, Josh. He's thinking, hey, next game I'll be in the field. Let's get this one over with.
Home plate umpire is still in the sun.
Hey, they've done a really good job tonight too, Josh, these umpires.
They have. They've done a very good job, yeah. This is a called strike. Silas Mitchell tonight struck out first time through. Grounded out 6-3. Good contact that time, but
almost had the big foul ball for the Favorite Friends of Animals.
Yes. Mitchell, also a student at A.J. McMullen. Really capable.
Now, Josh, here's another nickname, the Big Cat.
Oh, yes, I know that one. Andres Galarraga.
You got it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite players when I was a kid.
Well, I was thinking we'd have to give Silas a nickname along some kind of animal. If he hit it into your Jeep, he'd have to have an animal nickname.
Yeah, I like that one. We'd have to remember that
The
one.
Big Tiger, maybe.
I like that. Silas, a really capable musician, too. This one upstairs.
Now, Josh, we talked in one of the broadcasts about the Oakland A's, their mascot.
Yes, the elephant.
Well, we don't want to call him a big elephant.
No. This one going to miss down low. And Mitchell is going to draw the walk to reload the bases. Big stomper.
The big cheese.
Big tusk. The Oakland A's adopting the elephant mascot back when the team was in Philadelphia. Griffins of action. 1 for 3 tonight with a stolen base. First pitch is a strike. True George has done a pretty good job.
He had a big rip last at bat.
Yes, he did.
That could be big right now. That would score too.
Yeah, another hit. The A's, I think, would have to start feeling pretty comfortable with themselves. This one fouled back. They've got a 3-run lead right now.
No more insurance would be big. You okay out there, Josh?
Yeah.
Those allergies again, man.
Yes. That's a called strike 3 on a check swing.
That's going to end the inning.
And that's going to do it for the A's. No matter what happens, this game is going to be over after the bottom of the 6th. The Pirates are either going to walk it off or we're going to end with a tie or a victory for the A's. One of those three outcomes coming up for you next on the South Union Township Sports Network. And then don't go away, because after that, we've got another great game for you. We knew these games were going to be high scoring. This first one has not disappointed. 23 runs. And if the Pirates are going to win this one, we're going to need 27 runs. And what's crazy about that, Bill, as I had shared with you yesterday during the broadcast, the last time these two teams played, well, I shouldn't say the last time. Earlier this season, the final score, Pirates 14, Athletics 13. 27 runs scored in that game.
Wow.
So we have seen that exact score before between these two teams.
See what happens here. I'm kind of pulling for a 13-13 tie.
You do not see that every day.
No. In any sport.
And I wonder, Bill, as we see a new pitcher, we're going to see number 10, Max Voitish, take the mound. I wonder when you start to see, and maybe in some places you see this already, youth baseball begin to adopt the extra inning runner on second base in this kind of situation. Now, here we're up against the time limit. But I almost wonder if you have to start an inning after that threshold of 2 hours and 15 minutes if you let there be a runner on second base, just to guarantee you don't see a tie as often.
Right. Yes. Hey,
Right now the score is 13-10 in favor of the Athletics.
There probably haven't been very many tie games, if any, but it could happen. We could see it tonight.
Major League Baseball historically has only ever seen a few ties in recent history. Historically, more ties, if you look back, way back into the history of the game. One thing, of course, Bill, that many teams battled early in the days of baseball was the daylight.
The daylight,
That
yes.
was your problem. It was not so much any other aspect except fields did not have lights and you simply ran out of daylight to complete the game. Max Voitish looking to close this one out. 13-10. Here's who he's going to see. He's going to see Bryce Harwell, who's 0 for 2, followed by Cohen Casimir. Casimir tonight, 2 walks. He's been hit by a pitch, stolen 4 bases, scored a run. And Isaac Kirsch, who's 3 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBIs, couple of steals, 2 runs scored. For the Pirates, getting Harwell on base, I think, would be huge because you expect big things from Casimir, Kirsch, even Van Meter, Johnson, and King, all giving you some good contact tonight. And then, of course, after that, Drew George, who's doubled tonight. And Zachary Cater has come up with a couple of big appearances at the plate, too. So
they've shown the ability to put the bat on the ball for sure. So, this lead's definitely not safe.
long shadows across the field here at Hutchison Park. The Little League field, 12U Pirates and A's. Boy, our first one of 2 tonight has been a good one. 13-10, the A's lead. First pitch to Harwell outside. Ball 1-0. Phillies and Rangers will take the field after this one. 1-0 pitch. Voitish comes set. Bottom 6. This one going to be fouled off. 1-1. We do not play beyond this. This game is going to end with the A's winning, the Pirates winning, or even a tie possible here. The Phillies and Rangers are on site. They're ready to go. That, of course, also a 12U Little League game. The infield and outfield, more than being covered in shadow, almost covered in long bands of sunlight at this point. One of those bands running across home plate, the other across the pitcher's mound, and a final one cutting across the outfield and left. Somebody drops a foul ball into my open Jeep down the left field line. We're going to donate our pay, Bill and I will, to the Fayette Friends of Animals charity here in Fayette County in memory of the great Auk, a penguin-like bird, not a true penguin, but a penguin-like bird that went extinct today in 1844, or so we believe historically went extinct today, when the last 2 in nature were killed. Probably, I would suspect, not purposefully. I don't think those fishermen went out and decided they were going to eliminate the Great Auk today. Big pitch here, Bryce Harwell looking to bear down, and this one's going to be fouled back off the links. Cohen Cassimer on deck, ready to go. Pirates really looking here just to get some base runners. They need 3 runs. Pitch on the way from Voitish. This one outside. Harwell continues to battle. 2-2 count. Voitish. 2-2 pitch on the way. This one hit on the ground to second. Well played. Up with it. Throw on to first. Cam Hayden's got it. And a ground out. 1 down for the Athletics. Cohen Cassimer going to autograph the turf before stepping into the batter's box. Pitch on the way to Cassimer. This one in for a strike. Right now, the A's probably, realistically at this point in the game, they would trade just about anything for an out here or there. They lead by 3. Pitch on the way. This one's way outside, 1-1. The Pirates and A's back at it again Thursday. 5:30 first pitch. Bill and I tomorrow have T-ball for you at 5:30. This one hit on the ground. This one's going to find its way. Cut off at short. Here's the throw to first, and Cassimer's going to beat it. What a play by the A's, who somehow, Bill, that's a play hard to execute in the majors when the shortstop has to go that deep in the hole. The A's here nearly get it done.
Yeah, I believe that was Hudok out there on a short, nice backhand stop, and him had enough on the throw to get him. Cohen runs pretty well, though, so that was an extremely tough out.
Cohen 1 for 1 now tonight, 4 stolen bases already. This one down low to Kirsch, and Cohen is easily into second base. No throw.
Cohen got to realize right now his run means very little, though, so he got to be he got to be very careful on a base pass, though.
He takes a big
no
lead.
Unnecessary risk, kind of like that.
And he's on to third base, uncontested. Bill, he never really stopped from his previous steal. He just started walking again and then running.
You got to take a look at it, slow him down a little bit. He had a walking lead and just kept on going.
This one down low to Kirsch.
Now, this is where it's going to be tough for him, Josh. He's on third base. He's seen the ball get past the catcher a couple times, but, it's a big risk if he goes towards home right now with 1 out.
His coach, Timothy Kirsch, really encouraging him to. This one hit on the ground. It's going to be a tough play. It goes to Hudok. It's off the top of his glove. And Kirsch will give him the RBI single there. Difficult hop off the turf. 13-11.
Now we got some good speed on the base pass. Josh, what I worry about right now from a coaching philosophy is a line drive right now. Line drive double play. We've seen 1 double play tonight already.
Yes, we've nearly seen even 2, I believe. Kirsch on the move. Now this could be trouble into left field. And this one gets down. It's fair. Kirsch going to round second base. He's into third and into second. And there, just in time, is Bryson Van Meter. And my goodness, it doesn't get much closer than that. I thought they had him, Bill, at second base.
Yeah, that was close. And I was actually kind of half watching the runner on third to see if he was going home. And he set anchor at third. 1 out, tying run on second.
Samuel Johnson will take a ball outside. 1-0. Samuel Johnson tonight, 1 for 3.
He's put the ball in play, too, on his out. So you would think they're at least going to get this 1 run in, you would think, here.
Johnson has a couple of steals to his credit and a run scored. Pitch on the way. And this one is smoked into left field. And did Johnson? No. Yes. No, they're going to wave the runner. Now they're going to call him back. And the game-tying run is parked at third base.
That was exciting. My heart was racing a little bit on that one, Josh.
I thought they were going to send
Van
Meter.
We were going to see a play at the plate. The only thing I would have made that more exciting was if there was 2 outs.
1 out here.
Nonetheless, runners on the corners, 1 out. Eli King, the starting pitcher for the Pirates tonight up.
King 3 for 3 tonight. He swings at this one and misses. Samuel Johnson's going to trot down to second base uncontested. Pirates trail by 1. The game-winning run is Samuel Johnson. He's about 6 feet off of second base right now. 0-1 count against Eli King. Here's the pitch from Voitish, and now it's 0-2. King is going to be followed by True George. King tonight 3 for 3. He's got a triple, 3 RBIs and a stolen base. 0-2 pitch coming. And this is going to be a strikeout. No, King is going to take off. And the throw down to first base. And there's a collision at first. And now we've got to get some conversation here because Samuel Johnson's trotting home, and he's going to be in by a step. And he's called safe. And, Bill, I think that does it. Not the way we expected it to go. And now the umpires want to have a conversation. King collided with Cam Hayden.
What's going to be the call here? I think, in my opinion, that's a legal play.
So I think that should be a dead ball call. And there's some conversation happening between the umpires. So we had a collision at first base. So right now, here's the official ruling. The ruling is Bill, help me maybe understand this.
I don't know what the call was. I'm really perplexed. Who looks more excited?
So,
both teams look kind of bewildered. So I can't get like a judge who's like, who's excited about the outcome.
Does the game end in a tie?
Well, that would only be 2 outs, though.
That would only be 2 outs.
Even if the runner at first was out.
So maybe we can get some confirmation from the home plate umpire. The home plate umpire confirm the score for us? We're going to try to get the attention of the home plate umpire here.
I think they're going to.
Can you explain to us the conclusion of the game for everybody who's watching so we know how to explain it properly? Okay. Okay. So that runner, is he considered safe?
Safe.
Do these 2 runs, are they considered scoring?
Yes.
So the final score then is 14-13 in favor of the Pirates.
Wow.
Okay, so our original belief was correct. 14-13 is going to be the final score. King is therefore granted, he would have been safe is basically what they're saying. On a pass ball strikeout, he would have only been
he got
the second out.
Right.
If he's thrown out.
But no, but they called him safe.
They called him safe. And in the process, Van Meter and Johnson came around
So he had a strikeout, walk-off win.
Definitely do not see that very often in the game of baseball.
What a game, though. What a game.
Yeah, 14-13.
What else could you want?
Wild ending. I appreciate the home plate umpire. I know he's going to be our infield umpire here in a moment for explaining that to us because we were trying to overhear the conversations and like you said, Bill, no one seemed especially happy. There was not celebration happening.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking to see what team was more excited to see what the outcome was.
All right, so that's going to do it for our first game. A bit of an odd ending. 14-13, though, it's a win for the Pirates on a passed ball following a strikeout of Eli King. King beat the throw to first, and Van Meter scored to tie the game. Samuel Johnson scored the game-winning run. And that's going to do it for Game 1. Game 2, let's expect to start sometime around 8:20 for Game 2. 14-13, Pirates win. Today's game on the South Union Township Sports Network has been a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Again, our final score, Pirates 14, A's 13. For Bill Dice, I'm Joshua Scully. You've been watching the South Union Township Sports Network.